See, we all say that we have evolved with time, we are modernized, we are progressing. But are we truly progressing? ये सब शब्दों में बहुत अच्छा लगता है. But in practical life, are we actually following all this? No, not at all. And I know of so many families, just to produce a son, they've just gone on producing girls, and which has become a financial burden on them. This was not even a point which was thought about. Forget discussing it. Even the thought never came into people कि लड़कियाँ ये कर भी सकती है. Because even after the accident, when I started dancing, that's why I relate to the subject more. Is because when I started dancing and people said, why are you taking so much of efforts? Why are you pushing yourself so hard? You know, why are you torturing yourself? Why are you giving your parents sleepless nights? The women are born with a very strong will and determination, but somewhere down the line, we neglect it or we push it a little backward. Not trying to get it into the forefront. सिर्फ इसलिए क्योंकि हम चाहते हैं यार ठीक है यार काय के लिए unnecessary tension क्यों घर में. I was 16 when I started because at that time it was my father who stood with me. I remember when my dad used to take me every Saturday to the market and he used to purchase a new dress for me.
After getting a national award for your first film, and that I am sure that must have been such a courageous step because you were putting your story out there at such a young age.
It was the first biopic that was made.
Exactly. First biopic you have.
Which is never mentioned in the press. Unfortunately, it's very sad. Because I always feel when I leave this world and go, maybe for many, many years to come, somewhere, somebody will take Sudhaa Chandran as a reference.
My next guest has been shattering the glass ceiling ever, even before I or anyone would even know what a glass ceiling was. She has been the face of perseverance, change, evolution, courage, bravery, and all that one aspires to be. And I think it gives me immense pride today as I am sitting right next to her. So join me as I welcome the amazing Sudhaa ma'am, only on Bollywood Bubble. So firstly, ma'am, welcome.
Thank you so much.
It has always been a pleasure seeing you on screen, and this is my first interaction with you off screen. So very excited for that.
Thank you so much.
Doree looks amazing. The show, I think the grandeur of it increases because of the presence that you bring in it. Firstly, आपको जब ये बताया गया script and all, this is a very poignant topic, and I feel I was talking to Amar sir also about this कि no matter हम कितना अपने आप को बोलें कि हम evolve हो चुके हैं, हम progressive हो चुके हैं, the inequality between men and women still persists in a large portion of our country, and I think these stories need to be heard, these stories need to be told. For you to be associated with a story, how important does it become?
See, this was the most important thing. See, we all say that we have evolved with time, we are modernized, we are progressing. But are we truly progressing? Is the $1 million question. See, ये सब शब्दों में बहुत अच्छा लगता है. But in practical life, are we actually following all this? No, not at all. Because I still know a lot of families, not just in small towns and villages. I'm talking even about metros, where when the child is born, the first question that comes is, लड़का हुआ या लड़की? अरे ये भी तो पूछो बच्चा सही है या ठीक है या नहीं है. You're more interested in knowing whether it's a son or a daughter. Well, I don't say that there is some reason behind that. No. But the perceptions should start changing from there itself. बच्चा ठीक पैदा हुआ या नहीं. The second question is लड़का लड़की वो बात की बात है. But no, we still believe in this. And I know of so many families, just to produce a son, they've just gone on producing girls, and which has become a financial burden on them. But so my point is, why do you want to wait for a son to be born? And today the girls are doing much more and much better than the men and the boys. So why this sex discrimination? So this was a very important point. In fact, when the subject was narrated to me, I was very interested in the subject because this is the need of the hour. We need to be talking on these issues. See, these are issues which we normally tend to ignore. नहीं यार हम तो evolve हो गए, किसने बोला? No, you have not evolved. And seeing is believing. I always say this. When in a television series और या एक फिल्म में जो impact आता है किसी एक मुद्दे को जब आप present करते हो, it leaves a bigger impact on people. Because they still believe in hero worship. तो कोई अगर एक छोटी सी बच्ची डोरी में एक सब्जेक्ट या एक कंटेंट को लेके एक सोशल मैसेज के साथ आ रही है, me as an audience, like even when I watch the promo, other than me being an actress on the show, that's a different thing. But when the girl talks, well, even my mind starts thinking, हाँ क्यों नहीं? काहे? Why? See, that is a very important point. And the girl is so strong, the content is so strong. And I'm so thankful to Colors that they're thinking on these lines.
They've been
Television,
doing that.
yeah, they've always been doing it.
Yes.
Be it Balika Vadhu, be it Udaan, be it Neerja. See, my point is entertainment here is not just for entertainment. Use it as a very important tool to send a social message, which is very important. And I say after seeing Doree, even if we can have a 20 or 30% of evolution or a revolution, I think the purpose is done.
True. And as you said, na, I also realized कि involuntarily, just because of our conditioning, पहला सवाल यही निकलता है, लड़का हुआ है लड़की. And even in our age, even in our generation, people do that.
Yes.
And that is the wrong approach.
Exactly.
And actually, but since the show and the story is about the discrimination that women face, I'm sure you must have also been subjected to that throughout your career, because you have started in a time when this was not even a conversation. Today it is.
This was not even a point.
Yeah.
This was not even a point which was thought about. Forget discussing it. Even the thought never came into people कि लड़कियाँ ये कर भी सकती है. Because even after the accident, when I started dancing, that's why I relate to the subject more. Is because when I started dancing and people said, why are you taking so much of efforts? Why are you pushing yourself so hard? You know, why are you torturing yourself? Why are you giving your parents sleepless nights? I was astonished. I was expecting people to come and tell me, Sudha, give it your shot, man. You are a dancer. You need to come back. I mean, there was a section of people who came and told me all this. And thanks to God that I didn't take their advice too seriously. See, it requires a very strong mind. And for that strong mind, it's very important that your brain has to evolve. If my mind was weak, probably I would have given in to this. So that's what I'm trying to say, that the women are born with a very strong will and determination, but somewhere down the line, we neglect it or we push it a little backward. Not trying to get it into the forefront. सिर्फ इसलिए क्योंकि हम चाहते हैं यार ठीक है यार काय के लिए unnecessary tension क्यों घर में, but not for so long, because एक point पे कहीं ना कहीं वो सुनामी की तरह burst होता है. और जब वो burst होता है तो बहुत खतरनाक burst होता है. Then there is an absolute revolution. तो ये जो कहानी है वो वही है. आप कितना बॉटल करोगे, कब तक आप लड़कियों को सप्रेस करोगे? भाई एक पॉइंट तो है जब लड़की खड़ी होके अपने लिए तो बोलेगी. Now this is very interesting in Doree is because it's coming from a small girl's mouth. It's not a girl who's 19 or 20. She's a girl of 5.5. And she has a brain which thinks. And she doesn't blindly, follow कि मम्मी ने बोला है तो मैं करूँगी, पापा ने बोला है तो मैं follow करूँगी, नहीं. And she has a father who is inculcating those values into her. Normally we have seen stories where the mother does this job. But today with single parenting, there are fathers who are taking parental leave for their daughters. That's the biggest example.
True.
So kahi na kahi, in the upbringing of a daughter, the father started playing a very important role. So this angle for the first time is being explored in Doree.
And I think that relatability comes to the audience as well, because even though you were not 5.5, you started your revolution in the late teens.
Yes.
You were also very young.
I was 16 when I started, because at that time it was my father who stood with me. My mother was my pillar of strength.
I was about to ask that.
Yes, my father, he said, do what you want. I stand by you. Even when I lost the leg, it was my father who came. That was the time when I was a teenage that I realized how important a father is to a daughter, because he is your first hero. आप जो एक हीरो की क्वालिटीज देखते हो, you see it in your father.
True.
And then next you see it in your husband, because your husband has to be an extension of your father for your marriage to work. So my father was the man of strength. जब मैं अमर और डोरी को देखती हूँ, तो मुझे कहीं ना कहीं जब वो उसका हाथ पकड़ के चलता है, I remember when my dad used to take me every Saturday to the market and he used to purchase a new dress for me. हालांकि we came from a very, very middle class family, but somewhere he thought his daughter's happiness was even buying 100 rupees का एक फ्रॉक. So it was a system. वो एक custom था, हर Saturday मुझे लेकर जाते थे, and people in Parla where I used to stay, people say, अरे डैडी और बेटी का जोड़ी तो बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, आज पापा कौन सी ड्रेस लेकर आए तुम्हारे लिए. So this is what I see in Doree. So it is not that कि सिर्फ माओं की responsibility है. There is a new angle. The fathers are also taking good care of their kids, their daughters. So this एक angle जो Doree में explore हुआ है is very, very new.
True.
Very new.
Very new. And I must say कि when such stories come na, even though you are championing the other side in the story, at least initially that's what's going to happen. But there needs to be someone who also represents that side, because that needs to come out.
See, we are representing two sides. One, a section of people who believe that my principles are right. Like my mother was like that. She was absolutely Kalashi Devi. Though she was not rude, she was not arrogant, but she lived by her principles. And she said, good, bad, ugly, this is what I believe in. I will continue to believe in it. Take it or leave it.
True.
And she lived like that till the end of her life. कुछ लोगों के लिए वो negative लगती थी. But as a child, I thought probably my mother is very adamant. But when I stepped into her shoes, is when I realized how right she was.
Yeah.
So ये character negative नहीं है. Kailashi is not negative. उसके वो अपने प्रिंसिपल्स पे चलती है. Now she doesn't know सही है गलत है. हो सकता है जब वो छोटी थी ये प्रिंसिपल सही थे, तो इसलिए वो उस चीज को फॉलो कर रही है.
वही कंडीशनिंग आ जाती है ना, वो
कंडीशनिंग है.
देयर इज वन थिंग दैट इज वेरी कमेंडेबल अबाउट योर करियर ग्राफ इज ना कि व्हेन समवन डज नेगेटिव रोल्स दे गेट that kind of seeps into their real life persona in a way that people start thinking that they are that kind of a person in real life. That has never happened with you because I've never seen anyone say कि ये असल जिंदगी में रमोला सिकंद है. Yeah, she is close to that. You have never had that issue. So firstly, did you ever felt boxed in that category within the industry, or did that annoy you, or did you start enjoying it?
It never touched me. It never touched me because I'm a very grounded person in life. I think probably that's the culture, that the upbringing that I have come up with. So when you're grounded, nothing touches you. Neither success nor failures. See, both are dangerous. See, आप negative role कर रहे हो, आप negative घर लेके किसको दिखाओगे? अपने पति को, अपने बच्चों को? How do they care? कि तुम नेगेटिव हो या पॉजिटिव हो, तुम एक अच्छी माँ हो, एक अच्छी पत्नी हो, दैट्स व्हाट मैटर्स टू देम. मेरे वक्त पे मुझे खाना मिल रहा है, मेरी माँ मेरी देखभाल कर रही है, दैट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट. सो आई थिंक एंड टू मच ऑफ गेटिंग इनटू अ नेगेटिव स्लॉट, क्योंकि आप कई बार बहुत ज़्यादा नेगेटिव करते हो ना, तो नेगेटिव एलिमेंट्स स्टार्ट क्रीपिंग इन यू, विच इज ऑलरेडी देयर इन यू. इट्स देयर इन एवरी ह्यूमन बीइंग. We have the positive side, we have the negative side. There is no human being who says that I'm absolutely positive. Kabhi nahi.
We are all great.
We all have those little negative traits. But it's maybe our upbringing that has kept it subdued and suppressed.
Yeah.
तो ऐसे characters करते वक्त कहीं ना कहीं वो जो negative traits अंदर होता है, या फिर some flash of you know what you have undergone in life, that pent up frustration, वो सब उभर के आता है. वो आप करते वक्त enjoy करते हो. You know, when you're leading a very different life from what you are not. That is what I enjoy. जो मैं नहीं हूँ, जब मैं वो प्ले करती हूँ तो मैं वो विजुअलाइज करते हुए मुझे बेहद खुशी होती है कि अच्छा नेगेटिव होती तो शायद सुधा ऐसी होती. एंड थैंकफुली मैं बोलती हूँ अरे यार थैंक्स, मैं वैसी नहीं हूँ. सो दैट इज द थॉट प्रोसेस दैट नॉर्मली गोज. एंड देन अदरवाइज आई एम एन ऑन एंड ऑफ, यू नो, मैं स्विच ऑन स्विच ऑफ एक्ट्रेस हूँ. आई डोंट टेक इट, मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा मैं अपने सर पे इतना लेती भी नहीं हूँ. मैं सोचती भी नहीं हूँ कि मुझे ये सीन कैसे करना है, कोरियोग्राफ, नथिंग. आई गो एवरी डे, आई कम विद अ ब्लैंक स्लेट.
Director after this much experience, I don't think you even need that. That after the experience, that comes naturally how you have to approach a scene somewhere.
No. That is like taking your acting for granted. That's a wrong approach. Because अगर मैं ये बोलती हूँ कि 35 साल का एक्सपीरियंस मेरे पास है, मैं जो करूँगी वही सही है, वो गलत है. That's why I always surrender it myself to the director. First day itself, I'll go and tell the director कि सर मुझे नहीं मालूम क्या कैरेक्टर है, आप मुझे बेस दे दीजिए, आप मुझे ग्राफ दे दीजिए कि भैया ये कैरेक्टर ऐसा है, इसको ऐसे उठाना है, देन आई विल स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन इट. सो इट्स वेरी इजी. आपकी कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं होती, एंड यू विल नॉट लुक रेपिटेटिव बिकॉज यू आर वर्किंग विद डिफरेंट डायरेक्टर्स. एवरी डायरेक्टर्स अप्रोच टू अ कैरेक्टर इज डिफरेंट. जैसे एक डायरेक्टर ने नेगेटिव सोचा है, वैसे दूसरा डायरेक्टर नहीं सोचता है. इससे क्या होता है, एक आर्टिस्ट को सीखने का एक मौका मिलता है, प्लस टेलीविजन इज समथिंग व्हिच गोज फॉर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम. तो आप बड़े मोनोटोनस होते हो, तो हमको खुद लगता है यार ये वही क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग.
यू गेट टू ब्रिंग लेस.
या यू नीड टू ब्रिंग, यू हैव टू सी हर सीन को किस तरह से टैकल किया जाता है. बिकॉज अ नेगेटिव कैरेक्टर इज नॉट जस्ट नेगेटिव, शी हैज गॉट अदर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑल्सो इन हर. तो वो टाइम पे उसको छोड़ो. दैट इज व्हेन यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि दिस कैरेक्टर हैज गॉट डिफरेंट लेयर्स. शी इज अ मदर समवेयर, शी इज अ ग्रैंड मदर समवेयर, शी इज एन एडमेंट वाइफ समवेयर, शी इज अ हर्ट वाइफ समवेयर. तो ये सारी चीजें हैं जो बॉटल अप हुआ है इस औरत के अंदर. मे बी दैट्स व्हाई शी हैज बिकम सो रूड, दैट्स व्हाई शी हैज बिकम वेरी डिफेंसिव.
You know, your life and your career has always fascinated me as a audience.
Yes.
But like I have to say that I was reading one of your interviews, and there it was about how after getting a national award for your first film, and that I am sure that must have been such a courageous step because you were putting your story out there at such a young age.
That's the first biopic that was made.
Exactly. First biopic you have.
Which is never mentioned in the press. Unfortunately, it's very sad. because that was the first biopic which was made where I played my own role. आज तक कभी ऐसा हुआ नहीं है.
Going through such a traumatic thing early on in your life, did it help you deal with that phase of unemployment of 7 years that you spoke about?
Yes, of course. I mean, I had no choice. I mean, I did have a choice because I have wanted to do the IAS or the IFS. But एक होता है ना कि when you come into an industry, and I'm a person who cannot take failures lying low. When somebody says, well, you're not cut in for this industry and you know, this is not an industry meant for you, वो बहुत hurt करता है. And that is the biggest challenging point for me.
Yeah.
When somebody pokes me and says कि आप ये नहीं कर सकते हो, I would walk that extra mile to make sure कि मैं करके दिखाऊंगी.
I think I have a little extra connect with you now because I have also been a dancer.
Oh.
Somewhere I have done contemporary,
Achha.
different dance form, but there's a
Yeah,
certain
but we're all
connect I
artists,
feel,
yes.
and I feel the bravery, the courage that you show, na, that inspires a lot of people. Your whole life has been that way, but today when you see people coming up to you and telling you that how you have inspired them, does it fill you with a sense of pride that you took that step at that age and you did not kind of succumb to the pressures or the expectations?
It's not a sense of pride, it's a sense of purpose. Pride is very scary.
Yeah.
See, I feel very happy that there is a sense of purpose in my living. Because I always feel when I leave this world and go, maybe for many, many years to come, somewhere, somebody will take Sudhaa Chandran as a reference. You should always have some purpose in life. It's not that कि हम आए, जिए, खाए, पिए, मर गए. अरे कुछ तो छोड़ के जाओ. जिंदगी बहुत खूबसूरत है. तो जब आप यहाँ से जाओगे, तो कभी ना कभी, कहीं ना कहीं, किसी के लिए तो आप एक reference point बनोगे.
And who was that first person who instilled the sense of purpose, the sense of belonging in you? Because I'm sure people would have sidelined you after your accident. Who was that first person who kind of came to you and said, no, you will not stop here, you
My
will?
father.
See, I think that's why the story connects to you so much.
Yes, that's what I said. No, when I see Ganga and Doree, I feel it's my father in me. And secondly, I'm so happy that, you know, I'm playing Kailashi Devi, which is KD.
Yeah.
And my father's name was KD Chandran.
Yeah.
So when they say KD, because my father was known as KD in his circle. So the women say, KD ma'am come, KD ma'am come. I feel it's, you know, they're calling my father. So it's like, for me, it's a very different connect. Doree's got a lot of connections.
And I must say, ma'am, this much time is not justified to have a conversation with you. I'm saying it right away. We need to plan a longer conversation. We need to have a longer chat because your whole journey has been inspiring. And I think sometimes we just put you on a pedestal, but I think it just shows the humane nature of you and the never giving up attitude, and that is what makes you special. It's not about putting you on a pedestal and being like, oh, she's such a hero, but no, it's about how a human can persevere through the difficult times and still emerge victorious. You have always been that beacon of hope for a lot of people, including me.
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure you're going to continue to do so for a lot of people out there.
Thanks a lot.
Can't wait to see you bring another character to life and bring your magic to it with Doree. And
yes,
we
need we need your love, support, and support of the audience.
And from 6th November, from Monday to Friday 9 p.m. we are going to be giving that away. And thank you so much for this conversation.
So much.
This was a very short one, but we need to plan a longer one.
We will.
But thank you so much.
Hope you had all the best. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Hi, this is Sudhaa Chandran and you are watching me on Bollywood Bubble. Don't miss. Stay tuned.